Okay, hello and welcome back to another My Team episode. Today you join me for the French Grand Prix, also known as Pierre's home race, and hopefully we can both do quite well. I mean, the title may suggest differently. I don't know what the title is at the moment because I haven't raced it, but it may say differently. I'm hoping it doesn't. I'd quite like to see, 1-2 at Pierre's home race, but that's highly unlikely because he has been really aggressive recently. Now, I'll show you the qualifying, or like the end of the qualifying lap like I normally do. I did go out for a second lap, but I missed a timing line by like a meter to start another flyer, so I stuck quite far back, I think. Yeah, it wasn't a great performance, I can't lie. Qualifying has never been my strong point. I can never set good laps. I mean, look, P7, but I can never set good laps no matter how fast my car is. I mean, obviously, if it was like an insanely fast car compared to anyone else's, I could, but it's not.
Welcome along then to France, host of the world-famous Tour de France. But we're not talking two wheels today, we're talking four, in a country widely thought of as giving birth to the art of motor racing back in the late 1800s. We've come a long way since then, and you're about to find out how far. It's time for the French Grand Prix. We have 15 corners here at the circuit Paul Ricard, 6 to the left and 9 to the right. The rain is coming down and making for a slippery racing surface, but luckily there is plenty of runoff available, and hopefully we'll be able to avoid bringing out a safety car during today's Grand Prix. Anthony Davidson also joins me in the commentary box today. Let's talk about Reed. That was a great win in the last race. Can they keep that momentum going this weekend?
It's always nice to come into a Grand Prix weekend on a high, but your expectations are based much more on your practice and qualifying runs, so it's the momentum from those sessions that they'll be hoping to carry into the race today.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. A fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday puts him on pole, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have GASLY, Ricciardo, Carlos Sainz, and Norris, Bottas, Tsunoda, Perez, and Max Verstappen, Raikkonen, Giovinazzi, George Russell, and Ocon, Mick Schumacher, Reed, Lance Stroll, and Nobuharu Matsushita, Aitken, Tigtum, Latifi, and Nikita Mazepin. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Now that we've got some points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
Alright, here we go in the car then. We're going to go... I'm having a look. It says it's going to add 51 seconds, but I've had a look at the weather forecast and it seems like it might clear up. So I'm hoping we'll get onto the inters at some point. But who knows really. I mean, it's very wet. Very wet. But anyways, without further ado, to 5 red lights. In P16 we are underway for the French Grand Prix. An insanely good start then. Making a move already on Schumacher. Round the inside. Going off the track almost. Having to jolt our way across and not get flung off. Up into P12. Raikkonen gives us a little tap. Nearly sends us spinning, but we managed to stop that from happening. As we go down the little straight here, we go just enough past him. Yellow flag back to green flag. I don't know what that's for. Round both of the Red Bulls at once. Cheeky little move. Verstappen comes back. A little bit of a drift there. He's very difficult in these wet conditions, but we've managed to get past him with that extra little bit of traction. Up here then, 5 wide into that chicane, and it seems like Hamilton spun. Sainz has stopped. Perez has then gone and slammed into the back of him and spun him round. We almost get spun around. Managed to make it up into P7 through that. Bloody hell. Safety car out.
Safety car due to multiple cars being stopped on track. Mind your delta. Oh.
Alright, and on lap 3, the safety car's coming in. We're behind Bottas in P6. Someone pitted. I'm assuming it was like Hamilton. I can't remember, to be honest. Anyways, we managed to beat Bottas into that drag race down into turn 1. Barely though. Almost having a little bit of contact. But luckily, we don't. So you can't complain at me. Stop it. I don't care that I go out the tracks. Cry me a river. The tears that come on your keyboard are enough to cause a flood, mate. Shush. I don't care that I go off the track. I provide entertainment. At least I hope I provide entertainment. Don't know if I do or not. I just realised we went around Norris. Very nice indeed. Everyone seems to be struggling in these wet conditions. Like Leclerc and Ricciardo both went wide there. So did we, to be fair. Gonna go down the main straight. Obviously there'll be no DRS, so it's based off of pure power to get into pure power and pure balls to brake later, which we managed to do. Up into P3 then. Into P2 as we go around the outside of Leclerc into the chicane. Can we make it? Can we keep it stick? Yes, we can. Oh my god. It's been an intense race, and I can't lie, I don't like these wet conditions. It's fun to drive, and if it was really, really wet, like would get red flagged in real life, it would be pretty fun to drive, but it's not. Like, I don't think those conditions exist. I want there to be a weather mod, so I can choose the weather in races. Just so I can have a bit of fun. You know, I could chuck like monsoon weather in, like, literal puddles. But I mean, like, massive puddles. Gasly goes wide then into the turn. I don't know if that's wide or the opposite of wide, but we managed to get past him, a little bit drifty there. But we managed to get past, up on lap 8, up into the lead. We take the lead of his home Grand Prix, and I don't care anymore. We've had enough issues with Gasly this season. He's been too aggressive. He's been getting on my nerves. So we're going to steal this race away from him. Boom. Get good, boy. I don't even care at this point. I mean, like, I feel bad, but at the same time, I don't. Yeah. I'm rather emotionless when it comes to this sort of stuff. You know, sometimes I feel bad, but Gasly, mate, you've hit me enough times. You've been too aggressive enough times. You've blown your engine up enough times. So if you could stop it, that'd be great. But I am really struggling in these conditions. He's going to keep catching up, and it's going to be very hard to defend. Like lap 11, you can see he's only 0.4 seconds behind. We gain the speed down the straights and into those sharper corners, but it's around those wide bends, like in Sector 3 specifically. That whole sector, I mean, I've always struggled with it. Like where to brake and whether I need to brake. And this is no difference. Lap 13 down the straight, then Gasly is gaining on our right hand side of the car. Stroll out the session. Gasly's gone off the road. He's pushed us into a wall. And he's pushed us across the track and slammed us into another wall. Taken our wheel off. What is that? He just goes off the track and punts us into a wall. That's unbelievable. Well, I can tell you for free, mate. Gasly's not joining us next season. And with that, we're out of the race, and I don't think he is. Absolutely shocked at that. I mean, safe to say, Gasly is going to have to find another seat. Because he ain't coming back.
Tell me, Ant, how did they manage to achieve this win?
Well, they clearly have a car that comes alive in the kind of conditions we were dealing with today. It's a very balanced package in the wet, and what that means is that the drivers have confidence to attack. And having that confidence gets you on the power earlier, it lets you brake later, and can put you a long way up the road.
Red Bull put up an outstanding fight for the front position today, and it's great to see it paid off for them. They do so much for the sport that you can't help but be delighted by today's race win.
Verstappen wins the race then, which is kind of good because I think Tsunoda's the only other person who can really contend other than Gasly. Gasly gains 7 points, Tsunoda gains 10. I think we're going to be like 5 points left between us now, which is not a lot of points, and it's not a lot of legroom if this sort of stuff keeps happening. And I'm hoping it doesn't, but it very much could. I mean, it has before. I've done my teams before, like on F1 2020, where I didn't record or post or anything, and I've had, like, my teammate has just rammed into me for no apparent reason, and it's happened today, and it will happen again. However, I'm hoping next time it's me who just shoves him off the track. It's going to be a very difficult thing to not do. But now, we're going to have a look, and we're going to keep our eye on Daniel Ricciardo, because he's the one I want. I want to give him the championship-winning car that Red Bull couldn't. Anyways, thank you for watching this one. Rather eventful, and I hope to see you next time for the Austrian Grand Prix, which, personal favourite, should be good. See you then.